Today, President Trump wrote, "After having written many best-selling books and somewhat priding myself on my ability to write, it should be noted that the fake news constantly likes to pore over my tweets looking for a mistake. I capitalize certain words only for emphasis, not because they should be capitalized." Okay. And the response to this by a biographer of President Trump, Tim O'Brien, was another one of those tweets that sure seems staff written. Regardless, President Trump didn't write any of his books, ghost writers on all of them. So there's been, this mocking of Trump over ghost writers, not ghost writers, not Ghost Rider, the character. Um, and one of the things I like about stories like this, even though admittedly they're not central to a lot of people's problems with the current administration, is that they allow me to hold Trump to no higher standard than I would any other president. So, for example, I know a person who calls himself a big liker of Obama, um, and he criticized Trump recently for using a teleprompter during the speech he gave in regards to the Annapolis, Maryland shooting. And, you know, presidents, I think all the way back to Reagan, possibly earlier than that, have been using teleprompters. So it almost seemed like a foreign idea to become, mocking of Trump for following tradition. Um, and with many authors, particularly people who are major figures in, not necessarily known for writing, they use ghostwriters when they call themselves writing a novel. They have someone who is more experienced with the profession of writing than themselves. This is something that's done by other senators. This is something that's done by other individuals of note. That's the basic way to characterize it. So when I get stories like this, it really, it's almost like I'm testing myself to see whether or not I'm still fair to Trump, because I like to believe that I've held him to the same standards as I did Obama, Bush, Clinton, just keeping them together in this kind of pattern of, if they do similar things that I don't like, I'll say this one did this and this was bad when this one did that as well. But if they do things that I was fine with one doing, I'll give that one credit for keeping up or otherwise excuse that similar thing. And it's sad that we have um, nitpicks being made. The fake news thing I've already displayed my discontent with, but there is truth to the idea or to his stating of this theme where people are taking his message and they are effectively misconstruing it by looking for little stuff to point at. Oh, he spelled this wrong. He capitalized this. That is nitpicking. So to that effect, he is correct, and it's sad in just so many ways that the idea of Twitter and all, just any of these things where he writes, I would think people would want. You get the person's record, you can go and argue back and forth with it. Theoretically, if you call yourself, not being a fan of Trump, such as myself, you would be happy that he would give you an official account of his perspective on something, even if you think somebody else wrote it for him, but he played some role in that being written. They didn't just write something random and then stick his name on it. So it feels strange. All I can say. So it was a fun little story. I hope that this ends tomorrow and we don't keep going on about the tweets. I really wish that this is, Twitter's been having a field day for the last 18 months. They have seen their site become a valid part of history. I guarantee you when they go and look up the accomplishments of Trump's tenure, which depending on who you're talking to are far few and in between, as with a couple of other recent presidents, they're going to say that the one thing he did was that I guess could be seen as positive was make Twitter all the more of a household name. That'll be his one of his defining accomplishments in office, and we would prefer for it not to be his only thing or to not be the central thing, but when the media sits here and they talk about it over and over and over again, it's hard not to immediately associate him with that. So, thank you.